guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Alex from Alex's Innovations. Recently I made a dopamine alpha bracelet. It's so pretty. I love how it turned out. What I did was I created an alpha base with this sparkly gold thread, and then I embroidered a dopamine molecule on top. The back looks a little messy, but I really like how it turned out. So I'm going to be making another one, but with serotonin, because this is my first time ever embroidering something onto a bracelet, and so I wanted to choose the more linear molecule. As you can see here, serotonin isn't as linear as dopamine. They're kind of close though. So this is the dopamine bracelet. I'm going to start making the alpha background for this. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to start your alpha. So here you can see I have this very nice clean start to my alpha. I like to do this in my other bracelets too. In the beginning I didn't really know how to do this that much, and I also was telling myself that I wasn't that great at alphas, and that wasn't really the case. I'm good at alphas, I just don't do them that much to get better at it. I guess so when I do it, it takes a lot more work to get the same nice flat clean result. Also, people ask me how I get my alphas so flat, and that's because I only use one color or two colors at most, and I'm sure not to pull super hard, but I'll get to that in another video. Comment down below if you guys want me to do a video where I talk to you about alpha tips and tricks. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do a shaped start for your alpha bracelet. First, what you're going to do is you're going to prepare your strings and you're going to do a beginning loop. I did make a video for this a while back. I'll put the link up in the card and also in the description, where you guys can learn how to make a beginning loop on the bracelet. It'll give your bracelet a really nice, clean, professional look, and it overall adds to just the aesthetic of the bracelet. So I'm not going to be teaching you guys how to do that here. You can go check this out, so I'm just going to speed up this portion so we can get to the actual good stuff. Just a tip for when you guys are making your beginning loop for your alpha bracelet. When I make beginning loops, I typically do them for normal patterns, just because I don't make alpha patterns nearly as often as I make normal patterns. And so for normal patterns, you might be used to making them in this U shape. And this U shape, it doesn't have to be as long, especially if you're doing a shaped start afterward. Let me just remind you that you're going to be joining the end of these two strings together. You might want to make the loop just a little bit bigger than you normally would, because there will eventually be less space for the strings to go through. So once you have your beginning loop, you're going to attach that to your clipboard. And I don't know how to do the double shaped start, like for alpha. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I've seen people doing it. I just personally don't know how to do that. I'm not the best in alphas. I'm not really an authority, so I'm just going to be showing you guys the way that I know. I don't know if this has been done before, but this is the way that I've sort of played with and I figured out and is my style. So first, take your working string. Mine's the gold string. It's nice and sparkly so you guys can see it, and the rest of the strings are these fun brownish goldy colors. So first, bunch all of your strings together at the top, and then with the gold string, just do a backward knot twice, and try to get these two groups as close as possible so you just have one big bundle. And so this is going to be like the tip of your triangle. And by doing this, you are connecting your beginning loop, you're connecting them together, so you're sort of creating one big chunk of string. So now you're going to separate the two groups of string, and for me, I like to make bracelets with odd numbers of alpha string because it does make setting up the alpha easier. I can see that this side has my gold string, which is the one that I started, so I know that this one has more strings than this one. So this one, I just happen to know, has, I actually don't happen to know because I have to count, this one has 6 strings, which means this one has 7. And so for my technique, what you want to do is you want to separate one of the strings from the left side and put it in the center. So now you have 3, I guess you could say, groups of strings. So you have a really big group on the left, you have one in the center, and then a big group on the right. So you're going to start by knotting over, you're going to treat each of these big groups like one piece of thread. So you're going to do a double forward knot over the left group, then a double forward knot over the center string, and then a double forward knot over the right group. So now, it's kind of hard to see with the gold thread, but now we have 3 groups of knots. We have the left, middle, and right. Okay, so now you're going to take the right side and you're going to separate one string. You can choose any string you want, although I just find if I don't want to do my alpha strings in a specific color, which usually doesn't matter, I just do the one that's closest to the middle so we can have like as little rearranging of string as possible. So holding the string you separated off to the side to make sure you don't knot that, then do a double backward knot with your string over the rest of the bundle of strings. Then do a double backward knot over the one string you isolated, then do one over the single middle string you did earlier. Then with the group on the left, do the same thing as you did on the right side, so separate one string that's closest to the middle, and then do a double backward knot over just that string, and then do a double backward knot over the rest of the bundle of strings that you didn't isolate. Alright, so now we have just a fun little recap. We have our 2 big bunches of strings out on the sides, and then we have these 3 in the middle. So now we're going to go over again, and we're going to continue this pattern. So from this big bundle, we're going to separate one. I personally am not going to separate this gold one because even though this is closest to the center, what I like to do for my alphas is I like to have the color that matches the working color. So on the side, because if there are little bits of space because these rows do curve inward a little bit, so I'm sorry if this is hard to understand, but if I just have a color that's like, you know, the same color as the working string, then it makes me less paranoid about having to make the knots super duper tight, which will compromise the straightness of the bracelet and will make it a lot more wobbly and not straight. Maybe I'll do an alpha tips and tricks video. I think that would be really fun. But yeah, comment down below if you guys want that. Back to my actual video, because I'm talking so much about making other videos that I'm neglecting to make this one. Make a double forward knot over the group of strings left over, and then make a double forward knot over the string you isolated. Then make a double forward knot over each of the strings that you previously knotted over that are isolated now. You're not going to be grouping these with anyone, so if you see one string that's singly knotted over, just keep it like that. Don't group it anywhere. And then once you reach the right side, isolate one of the strings, and then do a double forward knot over that isolated string, and then do a double forward knot over the group of strings you took it away from. And just continue this. So on each side you're going to continue this pattern of taking away one thread and then knotting over the bundle you took it away from, then knot over each one in the center, and then once you reach the other side, separate one of the strings there, knot over the one string you separated, and then knot over the remaining bundle. And so as you can see, we're starting to create tapering, or I guess the opposite of tapering and untapering. I'm not really sure. But the back does look really clean. There is this border, and then you can see the working string inside, and you can see this in better detail on here. I really like it. It looks really clean. You can't see any of the working strings. So you just keep doing this down the line. Obviously the wider your bracelet is, the longer the section's going to be, because there are more strings that you're working with. So I'm just going to continue this and then speed this up a little bit, but it's the same principle, and then I'll show you the finished result. Alright, so I'm finishing up my shaped start for my alpha, and I love the way this turns out. Again, I would always do this instead of just starting an alpha straight row by row. And although this bracelet that I'm making doesn't have like a knotted pattern like this one does, if it did have a knotted pattern like this meow bracelet, after I finish the shaped start, that's when I would start following my pattern of one knot with this color, one knot with this color, and then so on like that. But before then, I recommend don't start the pattern, but just work with your background color. So that's all I have for this video, guys. If you liked this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to keep the bracelets coming. It really helps me out, and I love all the support that I get from you guys. I also created a Patreon, which is super cool because you guys can get early access to my videos. You can watch my videos 24 hours before anyone else does. You can gain exclusive access to an Instagram group chat where we can discuss helpful bracelet tips and tricks, and you can even get bracelets in your mailbox, which is super cool. I'm making bracelets especially for you guys, and all of your support helps me out. It helps me to create better videos and more complex bracelets, and just share the love for bracelet making that I have. So that's really cool. So my Patreon is Alex's Innovations, and you can support support me at any level of contribution you want. It really helps, and any help. Even if you don't want to buy a bracelet, you can still help me by just contributing a little bit. I post videos every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I aim to create a regular posting schedule because a lot of you guys seem to want my videos to come out at a regularly timed interval. Also, if you want to see more bracelets, please check out my Instagram at alexinnovations or check out my website at alexinnovations.weebly.com. Anyway, that was a very long outro, but thank you so much for watching, guys. See you next time.